focus on the players that are there in order for them to achieve their ultimate goal, which is to survive and advance.
Stay away from those turnovers. I know
you got that right.
He's thinking that too. There are the Jeep Grand Cherokee starting lineup. The freshman of some influence, Dante Harris, the star of last night, with Donald Carey, Jamarco Pickett, Chudier Belay, and Kudus Wahab. Chris Arcidiacono, that's right, Ryan Arcidiacono's brother, will be at the point with Caleb Daniels, Brandon Slater, Jermaine Samuels, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Villanova in white, Georgetown in the dark jerseys. And we are ready to go. Opening tap control to Villanova. Arcidiacono at the point. Jeff Anderson, Brett Hampton, Matt Potter, our veteran crew here for game number 1 of the quarterfinals.
Patience defensively for Georgetown is going to be very important now. Again, you'll see a lot of this too from Villanova, especially with Samuels and Robinson, that they're going to try to attack the bigs of Georgetown off the dribble, Tim.
Jermaine Samuels was once option number 3. He moves way up on the scouting report today with the loss of Gillespie and Moore. Although, as Rob documented, Justin Moore did suit up and come out to warm up. It'll be interesting to see if Jay needs him at any point in time. Robinson Earl pulls that one down. Arcidiacono did a nice job when he came in that Providence game, and you see Samuels with a couple of buckets to now open this game. But Arcidiacono did not make a basket, but his influence was outstanding in that comeback at Providence, though they fell short by 2.
Well, but you can tell the nerves was with Chris Arcidiacono early in the game, but that second half he settled in. It was a calming presence for this offense for the Wildcats.
Loose ball, Belay has it taken away. And it's those moments where Georgetown gets a little loose with the ball and Villanova can eat them up.
Well, you got to be careful, too, if you're a big inside, that if you bring it down, the ball, you know, Villanova's going to go to the strip.
Belay with the rebound. Chudier Belay, when he gets the ball, you can almost guarantee that he's going to be aggressively attacking the 10. The sartorial splendor of Jay Wright has been gone, although his sweats even look good on him. Now in his 20th year at Villanova, 2 national championships, as we mentioned, the 3-time defending Big East tournament champion. You make a case right now. Our friend Nick Baugh, one of our colleagues, made the point. In the last 7 years, Jim, I don't know that there's been a more successful program than Villanova.
No, well, consistency, you know, especially with 16 and 18 winning the championship, the number of Big East titles.
And Samuels, he's like shot out of a cannon, and Patrick's seen enough. The Wildcats pitching a shutout. This kid,
early on, that game plan is in full effect.
A couple of years ago, Jermaine Samuels was a reluctant shooter. He would just turn down 10-foot open jump shots. Not anymore.
Well, you know, at times, though, Jermaine will revert back to not being as aggressive. You see a turnover right here by Georgetown, but when he is aggressive, he adds another dimension to this Villanova offense.
And a 3 on the wing, just like that. Caleb Daniels out of San Augustine in New Orleans, Louisiana. You go back to the days of John Thompson. He always would get into Louisiana, usually New Orleans, private schools area, and claim a couple of big talents. Loose ball. They're going to say it's tied up. The possession arrow is to Georgetown, so the ball stays down here.
Well, Arcidiacono right here with hands up, being active. And then now, good teams make you play on the other end, a three-pointer in the corner. That's it.
Yeah. How about that? There's the answer you want. An and one opportunity coming here.
Yeah, always tell underneath out of bounds, if you don't stay connected, you know there's going to be a down screen, someone coming towards the ball in that time. Caleb Daniels just a little late to the party.
Donald Carey made him pay, and now they can get a 4-point play out of it. Almost carved that 9-0 lead in half in one possession. Oh, the iron kind early.
And smart here. A little pressure by Georgetown up front. A little 1-2, 1-1 press. And again, a lot of times, is it to steal the ball or is it to take some time off the clock, force Villanova into a quick shot? But that was excellent execution by Nova to get the shot.
Yeah, and look who's out there. Justin Moore. Didn't take long.
Well, I tell you what, having a high ankle sprain for Justin to be back out there, you know what that means? He's very young, bro. I mean, to be able to be back out like that, if I had a high ankle sprain now, forget about it.
Well, if you think about it, automatically you would think, as you see, nice job inside by Wahab. If you think about it, Archie Diacono can remain at the point. Justin goes back to his more normal two-guard position. So they need to develop chemistry now moving forward without a Colin Gillespie.
But you know what? And two, for Chris, it's a matter of doing what he's doing now, which is running the offense, getting guys set. If you have a shot, you take it. But you manage the offense, you take care of the peel, which he's doing thus far.
Quick shot, but there's Carey on the glass. Jay not happy with that.
Oh, he's all on Justin Moore, too, right now. Forgot all about the sprained ankle. He said, listen, if you're going to be out there, be productive, box out, you know your assignments.
Well, after an 8-0 run, a response from the Hoyas after a shot treatment timeout, an 8-0 spurt for the Hoyas. Out of bounds, last touched by Georgetown. We're off to a quality start. Jim Jackson is in the house, and we've got the top seed here.
But has been so successful.
Yeah.
Those little things add up in the long run.
Tough love, man.
Yeah.
It's going to come. Jay took his fair share when Roley sent him out for spaghetti back in the day. I remember that. Embracing your past, moving forward with a program built on culture. That's what Villanova basketball is all about. Harris is so good. He had an unbelievable second half last night. Count it, and a foul. Wahab on that switch. And you know, from time to time, Villanova's going to have those situations.
Well, but this is his own defense. And interesting enough, Jeremiah Robinson Earl was up at the free throw line, and it was Justin Moore in the middle. So smart play by Georgetown to identify, you know, the ability to get Wahab deep on a smaller opponent. Justin was there. He just made the mistake of reaching in.
What's that old saying? If you're going up against a zone, against a team that doesn't primarily go there, get it to the nail, right?
Get it to the nail. And if you have height, let them touch the rock inside.
Well, it is by 2. 11-0 run for Georgetown. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, that good spin move of his, right past Jamarco Pickett.
A little zone press right here.
Look at that.
Beautiful pass.
Late to recover that time, and a beautiful pass.
And here's the issue with that pass. The bodies were in place, but the hands were down closer to their knees. So that pass was able to be, you know, on a zip line right to Wahab inside, and that's something you normally don't see from, you know, Villanova defense.
That one's off the heel, won't go, but it's run down by Samuels. And the foul by Belay.
Well, let's go back to the play. A little breakdown defensively, but Georgetown able to recognize it right here, right through the middle of that press. Dante Harris, one-hander. And like my man Steve Lavin says, the easy no-footer.
Cole Swider comes into the game for the first time, replacing Archie Diacono. Now, he's still not made a shot, but he's still handled the point pretty well. Now, Moore might go back to that position, or we might see Robinson Earl control the rock a little bit more. Here's Jepson. Out of bounds, last touch by Villanova. Patrick Ewing now in year number 4. He's had to reinvent his team in consecutive years now. And those COVID outbreaks this season came at really inopportune times.
Well, but I think yesterday you had the graphic up. 6 freshmen, 3 grad transfers.
Right.
So coupled with COVID, no practice, no continuity, okay? That's not an easy, and dealing with the players you got in the mental aspects of them dealing with COVID, okay?
Robinson Earl a putback.
But notice one thing about what we've seen in the last 3 or 4 possessions by Villanova. By Georgetown going to the zone defense, it eliminated the one-on-one driving opportunities by Villanova, forcing jump shots. That time, Jeremiah Robinson Earl was able to gobble up that rebound and put it back in. But the switch has caused Villanova to be more of a perimeter-oriented team.
Harris must recognize that. You've got a young group of guards, Jim. You're prone to not recognizing those defensive changes.
Yep, and you just kind of settle for a shot instead of exploiting the defense. But, you know, and that's the challenge when you have a freshman point guard in this kind of environment.
Blair taking it off the deck. There are times when Blair can become unconscious, too. Much like Harris, that's a block down on the baseline against Samuels. See Daniels coming back on the floor for Villanova. You'll also get Eric Dixon into the game as Jermaine Samuels sits down. I love the horn here at Madison Square Garden. It reminds me of the days when John Condon was the public. Hear that? That's beautiful. It's like an old bus station, you know.
Old bus station. Yeah. Old bus station.
Yeah, an old bus station would make us up. If your bus is taken off,
right,
it's one of those muted horns. I'm waiting for John Condon to introduce Walt Frazier and Earl Monroe. Rebound taken down by Robinson Earl. Slider with a ball fake in the 3. Not to be. And they're going to tag Eric Dixon with the foul.
Even on that last possession, Slider missed that jump shot. Georgetown has to be very conscious of this. In Villanova's secondary break, when they push it up, they're going to exploit off the dribble to see if they can attack, but on the weak side to see if they can get a quick shot. If Georgetown doesn't adjust to that, those shots are going to be open for the Wildcats.
Chudier Belay, not this time. Here go F.A. claiming it. And another foul. Daniels. That's 2 on him. Jay's having to go to his bench and massage some minutes here early. Brian Antoine comes into the game for the first time. It's a young man that you had to expect would see more minutes with the loss of Gillespie, and he's starting and hurting somewhat Justin Moore.
Yep.
Sophomore from Tinton Falls, New Jersey.
Again, 2 years just dealing with a lot of injuries. It's good to see him on the court.
Brings them some length along the perimeter.
Yeah, extend your bench. You know, beautiful pass back door.
Oh, and everything but the finish. Dixon back up. Stay with it.
Well, you know, Dixon wanted the hard way. He wanted to get the basket and the rebound, so he missed the first shot. He got the offensive rebound and went back up to 2.
Padding stats,
yeah,
right?
Made it a little bit more difficult.
But as your old Buckeye friend Clark Kellogg used to say, he's a stat sheet stuffer on one possession. 15-13. Villanova.
I think so too.
Take care of everybody, you know?
And they did because each received 3 first-place votes. So I get it. And COVID, and they had to deal with different things.
It's a different year, you know?
You better believe that.
In every respect. And by the way, to not deny Sandro Mamukelashvili simply because his team has been a disappointment down the stretch, I think would have been unfair. I really do. He played really, really well.
Yeah.
Their issues were along the perimeter more than anything else. Well, yet he still had a great season.
Well, their issues also went back to it wasn't talent, it was leadership.
Yeah.
They didn't have a Miles Powell.
Exactly.
They don't have one to kind of galvanize when things go south for Seton Hall.
We'll find out in game number 2. Dixon doesn't get the roll. Diego Efe picks up the foul. Talk about Mahmoud talking about Gillespie. He says, I would give it to Colin. Listen, for 4 years, this kind of guy is just unbelievable. Great presence, carried his team, developed a lot. So I'd say he's an example of what it's all about.
Well, because of how he started. Think about this. His goal was to be that guy.
Right.
In regards to what, a top of the list on your scouting report, an All-American, the Big East Player of the Year from his freshman year. So he learned. He charted the same kind of waters that Colin had to go through. That growth part. So that's why he appreciates everything that Colin Gillespie has brought to the table, because they tracked upon that same kind of timeline from the beginning to where they're at now.
When it comes to individual honors, I've got no problem with going plural either. I really don't. Because there are times when really it does work. And I think this is that season when you have to take so many other things into account.
And winning with 2 for Villanova with Jeremiah, Robson, Earl, and Collin, makes some sense.
It does. Oh, Blair with Flair. Look out. He starts blowing on that left hand after taking a 3-ball. You know he's beginning to feel it.
But it was the patience of Georgetown, moving the basketball quickly, getting it out of your hands, making a decision that ultimately led to Javon Blair, I think it was, to be able to knock in that shot. The quick decisions versus a zone.
See, it's going up.
Yeah.
You knew right away after he made the first one, give it to me. You're not going to get it back. 19-17.
But that's not a bad shot because it's in transition. The defense is falling back. You got a couple bigs underneath the rim. You just knocked down one. That time, unabated, he was able to knock in that open 3.
Samuels right into a roadblock, and they're going to give it a block. It'll go against Diego Efe.
Well, look, against the zone, you make the right plays quickly because the ball is going to move faster than bodies, so you can get there. This is the secondary break, swing over. Listen, you're hot, you knock down one, get it in, and back to the drawing board for Villanova, so to speak, even versus the zone. Put the ball on the deck, now you pick up a foul.
Georgetown's just one of those teams, Jim. If you can keep Harris and Blair moving the ball around without turning it over, they have the skill set to beat just about anybody, anytime. Their issue has been chemistry not being developed over all of the COVID stoppages, and as you mentioned, transfer portals and 6 brand new guys. The issues for Villanova from downtown remain. Only 1 tray so far.
But they've had good looks. So, Jay Wright and the Wildcats, a tough pass right there. To complete Dante Harris. But if you're Jay Wright, you got the shots. It's a difference if you're shooting threes, contested, off balance, then you get upset.
Yeah,
but if those are your normal shots you get in your offense, you got to keep taking them.
1 of 11, and they've missed their last 9 from downtown. Blair a step back. A little more difficult that time. Justin Moore the rebound. Beautiful. Yeah. Count the basket. Wahab got that one after it hit the backboard.
Well, 2 plays there. One, Robson Earl able to seal off inside. I think that was Wahab right there, or it was Belay right there. But then Justin Moore, kind of like a running back, getting through a gap, saw the opening, maintained his dribble, able to get to the basket.
You got to love Moore's game. He really is outstanding without the ball and with it as well. Robinson Earl lost it, but recovered. The lead is 2 for Villanova. 8.5 to play here in the first 20 minutes of game 1 of quarterfinal Thursday. Alley-oop. A little too strong that time from Samuels. Belay. They're going to give the ball to Georgetown.
I think they're going to overrule it.
Yeah, there may be.
They're going to overrule it. So Belay just threw it in.
Yeah, Brett Hampton came over, and you saw the overrule.
But you know what? On that play, Belay had Donald Carey open immediately when he caught it. By him hesitating, trying to put it on the deck, now you take what could have been an easy play, you made it more difficult, hence you turned it over. You can't have those kind of mental breakdowns against this Nova team, because they will come back and they will make you pay.
Rebound by Pickett. Trying to get free. They finally get it to him. It's going up. Count it. Picking him up and putting them down. Kudus Wahab. An and one coming up. Patrick extolled the virtues of this young man last night in ways I'd never previously heard. From one former big to current big.
Can we... And this... His ceiling is still pretty high because he's still learning, you know. But right now, dominated 4 for 6 early in this game, 9 points.
And he's doing it the way his mentor John Thompson did it. Get a quality big behind him.
Right.
I mean, they had great backup centers. When Big John, Patrick had great backup centers. Sprague was a designated 8-minute guy, would always handle the tip. And, you know, you think about the days of Mutombo when he was playing at Georgetown, there were always a guy pushing you from behind. That Igaweffe may not be as skilled, but he knows there's an option. Does Wahab, as you see, once again, Jermaine Samuels drain a much-needed trade, just the second of the game for Villanova.
Well, I played with both Dikembe and Alonzo.
Yeah.
Okay, was in the same draft class as Alonzo, 92. We actually played Georgetown my sophomore year to see a travel by Donald Carey out in Vegas. Alonzo didn't play that game. Dikembe did. And Dikembe, this is how Dikembe is. Oh, Double J, we took it easy on you. We let you win the game.
I like that.
You know, I said, man, stop it. We beat you. But they always, the development of the post player is just in the DNA of the Georgetown boys. Nothing back to back time.
And you want to get your stats up from downtown, get it to number 23.
Well, but 2 shots, Timmy B, where within the offense, those were shots that they had missed earlier. That's why you don't abandon the good looks in that time back-to-back by Jermaine Samuels of knocking in an open 3.
The lead is up to 5. Samuels 14 of those points. Claims another opportunity for Villanova off the glass. Remember, some foul difficulty for Jay to massage after 6 early fouls. They've been relatively foul-free of late. Loose ball, and it's Belay that comes out of there with it. And a wide-open Jay for Pickett.
You know what? I've always been a fan of this young man. I felt that he had the potential, and not that he's didn't have a good career here. I thought that he was a 15 to 20 point scorer based on his skill set. That time able to square up and knock it in. If Georgetown is going to win this game, he has to be an integral part offensively.
Slinger got it to Robinson Earl. That was a good dish by Slater. And it's 29-25.
How about the patience that time by Robinson Earl inside, knowing that the big bodies would swarm eventually, able to get it up. Excellent footwork.
He embodied the basketball IQ that Jay wanted from the jump when he got to Villanova. Look at those hands. Blair gives it up late. Pickett can't get it to go. That'll be a push-off. Moore got a little physical that time.
Hey, but I tell you what, Justin Moore, no way he was going to allow that offensive rebound to take place after what happened earlier in the game. So on Belay right there, okay, he got the foul, but it was because he was not going to let that big body get that offensive rebound. So you really can't be too mad at that.
Moore does sit down, and they do get Antoine back on the floor. Did we get a technical? I believe we did. Hearing Brett Hampton now.
It was on Georgetown.
Yeah. So I think maybe Belay said something. There might have been a magic word in the aftermath of that fray. We'll double check. Robinson Earl is at the free throw line, by the way. Here's the beginning of it. Yeah, there was some movement towards the head. And then some wolfing afterwards.
But yeah. But I know he's talking, but what did he direct it toward? He might have been directing it towards Justin Moore.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't like the physicality of it. Moore deserved the common foul. But Belay reacted in such a way that a technical was given to him.
Well, he had to say something because, you know, you're going to react because emotions are high because a lot of stakes are on the line here. You know, you win, you move on, you lose, you go home. And I would think the officials would adhere to that, so it had to be something verbally really...
Yeah. Magic words. Chudier, much traveled, transferred out of Northwestern State by way of Bradley and Otero Junior College, a young man that actually Natchitoches, Louisiana, where Northwestern State is located in the Southland Conference, is only an hour away from my home. And he went by the name Bile while he was at Northwestern State and decided that he would go with the natural pronunciation, Belay, when he got to Georgetown. Sounds good with Chudier as your first name.
But you know what? That's what happened. Now you go to Georgetown.
Fresh start.
No, but great move that time by Robinson Earl.
Absolutely.
A prestigious university.
Absolutely.
Upscale. Northeast. So you have a little foreign twang to that, to the name on it.
I like that. Yeah. More of an international feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Belay. You say you...
How good is that? That's, you deserve two first names last when you make a move like that. Man, that is strong. Robinson Earl, son of Lester Earl, an outstanding talent in the mid-90s. Played at Kansas after originally going to LSU. How many kids on the basketball floor can say their dads were finalists with Kobe Bryant in a high school slam dunk competition?
Right.
33-27, Villanova by 6.
You know, we talked about this off here a little bit, Timmy, about the managing the fouls with Villanova, but also the switching up of the defenses to not extend his shortened rotation with minutes by mixing in zone with man-to-man. You know, so great job by Jay Wright of kind of mixing up the defenses.
Pickett rattling it home. He's got a little too much room against that zone from time to time. They may look for the numero uno a little bit more against it. Georgetown is 5 of 13 from 3. Archie Diacono back on the floor, controlling things. This is the most minutes I've seen from Dixon in quite a while. Trying to give space to Robinson Earl. Nice job. Count it. And the foul. Really well done. Patience by the young man. Jimmy?
Well, inside, you know that Wahab is right there to be able to block the shot, but Nova right now kind of feeling the physicality, not backing down, able to resurge and get up by 5. Big East tournament.
Not having a Daniel Ochefu or a Sadiq Bey type of guy. Robinson Earl probably a more natural 3 at the next level.
Right, at 6'9".
A 4 here, and he's outmanned many times playing at the 5 spot.
Well, the best thing about him, he's got a good head of lettuce up there. You know what I mean? Especially when he gets sweaty and wet, it's just up there shaking.
I want to say that young son of yours has that kind of feel.
Hey, listen, I'm jealous. I see his hair. I'm just like, man, his mother's like, you gonna comb his? No, I'm not combing his hair. He's gonna get up, throw some water on it.
And there's a trip by Dixon. He gets one away from the basket, far, far away. A tripping violation.
But, you know, I think at the top of the show you talked about kind of Villanova and what they do and do well, and why it's so tough to beat them. Despite not having Colin Gillespie, they're still very dangerous in the situation if you not allow them to operate. We see early on, you know, attention to detail in their game plan. Had a little lull. Georgetown made a run, but then Nova kind of get back into who they are.
Well, the culture takes over.
Yeah, it does.
You know, when Jay told us prior to the Providence games, as you looked at their tournament resume and they're in good shape, the thing to remember is he loves his players, cares about them. And when Gillespie went down, Jay had nothing to do with Robinson Earl taking over at the point. At that moment, all he cared about was Colin Gillespie's health. And he said, you know, our guys just determined that Robinson Earl would run the point for the first few minutes. And then at halftime, we sort of figured, okay, Justin, you take it. But that's what the culture is all about.
Missed a lot. But one thing culture is, a lot of places got culture, but without the right players, that's all you really have.
Yep.
And, you know, Villanova's had the unique ability, they've had the ability to not only build the culture, but get the right players that fit that culture.
Yeah, you still have to have the Jimmies and Joes.
Yep.
The trailer is Slater. Well, they left him wide open, but as the scouting report says, there's a reason for that. They'll run the show and get it into some guys' hands that can pump it from deep. Swider's one of them. Right back out to Slater. See, that they waited for a better look, and it was an open one. He just didn't get it to fall. Harris. Blair. Oh, nothing but nylon for Javon. He plays with some attitude. We're tied at 35. Just over 2 minutes to play.
And Blair that time was looking at Colin Holloway inside. Couldn't get him to peel, but he knew he had enough space to get that shot up. Able to knock it in once again.
That's a great look. Archie Diacono got it to a wide open Swider where he likes it. Blair one more time. Pumping it up. And an over the back will go on Igwefe. That's what's going to happen with him. He'll come in, give his best, usually collect the number of fouls. That's number 3 on him, and Patrick doesn't mind.
No, the effort is there. The only thing you hate is that when you're in the penalty, you want to try to stay away from, especially as you end out the half, from picking up that foul, now sending your opponent to the free throw line to kind of give them free baskets, you know? So you got to kind of discern when to go after it based on where you're at in the penalty. And that's when they were able to avoid, you know, points being put on the board, but you want to play a little bit smarter in that situation.
And you can hear Ewing all the way down on the other end of shouting out his offense. Next half will really be fun.
Well, I know that voice too well from him being an assistant coach of mine at the Houston Rockets.
And Harris, he may warm up. That's his first perimeter jumper to fall.
And Georgetown, you get a couple stops here. You can maybe increase the lead. You take that momentum in the halftime. What a confidence booster that is. After starting a little bit behind and weathering a run, if it stays packed by Villanova.
Well, here's the scary thing for Villanova. As they continue to miss threes, Georgetown's 2 guards are both confident. Blair and Harris. Harris was the star of the second half last night. Robinson Earl trying to carry his team right now, but the iron really unkind from downtown here in the opening half. Yet they're only down by 2. See the shot clock, game clock differential. Ooh. Around and out, and the putback opportunity around and out. Does not fall. That was Holloway. And a timeout. 9.6 remaining until the break.
Start, David, get back in. Villanova, you know, we're right there. If we make some shots, we can have the lead by X amount of points. So that's how coaches kind of view things a little bit as you go into halftime.
Samuels gets it back. There's the follow. Would have counted had it gone. A nice move there by Brandon Slater, but he was unable to get it to go. Very energetic.
Driving the ball. Now, different ways you get points in the paint. In transition, drive, backdoor cuts. It's not just customarily posting up a big down low.
We have officially gone beyond where we did this time a year ago.
Well, you know, I left.
I know you did.
I left last year, right?
You had a young infant to get back to.
That's right.
But we are officially on course to finish this baby. And there's Robinson Earl finishing it, baby.
Well, kind of backward. You know, it started for Villanova, which was get the ball 2 feet in the paint. And a nice little misdirection to get Robinson Earl isolated inside to get 2 to come out the half.
Harris. Now, see, we touched on this in the first half. Blair's already got it going. Harris has made 1 3. Now that one. Those 2 get going. Look out.
Yeah, but with Harris, you want to be opportunistic in when you take your shot. Yeah. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. You're able to isolate good hands by Belay right there. You're able to get to your shots. So discernment is very key. And right here, I mean, this is just a great high-low with Robinson Earl able to get Pickett on his back.
Villanova going with more to start the second half, and Archie Diacono in the backcourt. Arch is fouled that time from three-point range by Carey, so he'll get to the free throw line for 3. You know, it's one thing to come into a game as Archie Diacono did for Justin Moore back at Providence last Saturday. It's another when you know that you're going to be the point guard in the postseason.
Well, but isn't that what you want as a player?
Oh, yeah.
For your number to be called. So that's why it's always important to be ready. But also for young players, understand this. Like Ryan, so right now with Chris Archie Diacono, he's coming into this game with the mind focus of it's not about scoring.
That's right.
I can impact this game defensively, passing the ball, being the leader. That's why the coaching staff can trust to put him and give him the keys, so to speak. And it's not always about how many points you put on the board.
I've had the honor of having dinner with his dad, and you know how proud he must be, not only of Chris, but how about Ryan and the job he's done since going to the next level.
Yep.
They were born to go to Villanova. The Archie Diaconos. Oh, Harris goes crossover. And that is a shot clock violation. Outstanding defense that time by the Wildcats.
Pat barking orders the whole time, and that time paralysis by analysis. That time, but the Georgetown offense kind of just got stagnant. Got caught with a shot clock violation.
There are going to be a couple of times I'll startle your partner when we come down to this end and they're in a set offense. I'm going to just shut up and let you listen to Patrick Ewing.
You know what? You will startle me right there by not saying a word. You're absolutely right.
Well, all right, brace yourself. 20 seconds to shoot. 20 seconds to shoot.
Now, are we sure we want to let everybody listen to what Pat has to say? See, that's the question, because it's some things being hurled out his mouth that, you know, I know it's early in the day, but you may want to put the kids to bed if we're going to do that.
Here we go.
Offense.
It'll go the other way. Player control foul.
And that's just excellent footwork that time by Jermaine Samuels, understanding that Belay wanted to get to his left-hand drive and then anticipates it right here. And, you know, doesn't make the common mistake of reaching in with that right hand at the end to try to slap at the ball.
That's just a great scouting report maneuver by Samuels, because he knows Belay is always going to try to drive it to the basket.
It's sticking too much. Move it.
Move it, Tim. You heard Pat say it.
I'm laying out.
Pat said move it.
Go right ahead.
Pat said move it.
When the ball comes down to the other end and they set up against Villanova's defense, just let you listen to Patrick a little bit. Moore. 43-39.
Well, at that time, Justin Moore got his legs up underneath him on that jump shot. Really exploded up to it, left it, right hand up, fingers pointed at the rim, nothing but nets.
I believe he said get back.
He did.
Am I correct?
Oh, you heard it loud and clear.
Robinson Earl going reversal. And the Wildcats extend their lead to 6. Second half starting a little bit like the first half. A quick run for Villanova. An 8-0 spurt. They have a 9-love spurt to open the game.
Move it. Post up, Mano, friend.
Wow, great hustle.
Big time. We got a tie ball. I think that's a good call. Errol going to Georgetown. Hey, Jay barked a little bit there. He was right up there with Ewing barking out signals to his guys.
How about this? Simple pass, a bounce pass inside. Now, Villanova makes some of these plays look so routine because they work on it and do fundamentals. The jump stop, 2 feet. The high-low ball fake and then bounce pass, you know? Points in the paint, we talked about it at halftime, 20 points to 10. You see 4 more in the second half. And it's those little things, how the offense operates, because the spacing is there, which now allows guys to have freedom of kind of one-on-one coverage at time, in particular inside.
Oh, good pass there. And another one inside to Wahab and a foul. Robinson Earl reaching in. Let's see how Villanova handles this inbounds with 20 on the shot clock. It'll be triggered in by Carey. Good look, wide open, couldn't get it to fall. Critical period here for Georgetown. Early in the second half, yes, but Villanova pretty much getting what they want on this end of the floor. They get easy shot after easy shot, and that adds up over time.
Well, how about Justin Moore kind of seeking out the body of Dante Harris and kind of just bully balling him into the lane, patiently getting a shot up and in.
Tough to get it in there. And a foul. That's a block inside. Slater coming over to help Moore. And when we come back, these two men on display. And thanks to a startled analyst, you're actually getting to hear some of them. To quarantine. Unaware of who that player is. More on that coming up a little closer, assuming, to the game. However, because of these extra precautions taken, by the team. Travel, including increased distancing and enhanced PPE practices. No other individuals were affected. So the good news is we've got a game to be played. And in lieu of what happened earlier today, the announcement made in the ACC with Duke, you've heard that conversation. Let me throw this out at you, Jim. I think that what that means is if Duke were inside the bubble potentially with the committee, they were just outside in Mike DeCourcy's bracket coming into today. Possibility of there being another at-large potential for a team out there exists.
Well, that's the thing, and people got to keep in mind, because the Ivy League chose to forego this season because of COVID.
That's already one right there.
Yeah, there's an at-large bid that's available. I like to call it the Duke. Yeah. The Duke at-large bid. But it'll be interesting to see how the committee, depending on what happens, see out of bounds right here by Georgetown, what happens with these conference tournaments. Yeah. How and who they choose to utilize that at-large bid for.
Well, it's interesting that they are out of the ACC tournament. Nothing has been said from Duke's point of view about next week and the potential of the NCAA tournament. But let me just say this, the selection committee will be under the gun in a lot of respects if, in fact, Duke were to play, given the fact that they pulled out of the ACC tournament. Many thought they needed another W to get in. Count it and a foul as Harris takes a straight line drive to the bucket.
So you talked about Harris and his quickness and what he brings to the table. We saw the jump shot earlier in this half, and now the ability to explode, knowing that Justin Moore is coming over and use his offhand here. Getting himself to a free throw line for an old-fashioned three-point play.
By the way, we're told that the press release by St. John's is now out, and it is Isaiah Moore that, through contact tracing, is in quarantine and unable to play. I think that's going to be a tremendous game. Seton Hall, St. John's, Jersey versus the city. We know about the rivalry. We know what happened in the last game between the two. Oh, boy, that is going to be something special.
And Seton Hall playing for
a bid.
A bid.
Yeah. And with the news on Duke, should inspire Seton Hall in a lot of ways. Just as the loss by Xavier inspired Syracuse, one would think. Yeah. Well, over in the ACC tournament, Boeheim's bunch may be getting in the NCAAs after all.
I'll tell you what, partner, if you didn't have enough motivation coming into this tournament to get yourself and play yourself into a bid and to March Madness, then I don't know what to tell you.
Robinson Earl, his patented reversal.
I know what I can tell you. That young man plays all facets of the game, and once again, the ability to take advantage of his quickness on Wahab, tightrope the baseline, and then finish on the opposite side of the rim.
28-12 in the paint, and most of that is Robinson Earl. Look at Archie Diacono get the deflection. On the deck, the human floor burn, tying it up. Possession, I think they got the timeout. Georgetown just managed to get it with 9 to shoot. A little Archie Diacono making a difference for Jay Wright. There's other 2 to make up the first 4 out.
Well, another chance to get a quad 1 win. They were 3-7 this year in quad 1 wins. So if you win that game, you know going into the next semifinals that you have another great chance. You pull up right here again. How about the patience? That time by Dante Harris coming in. The thing I love about that play, too, is this. I always say this. Coming out of a timeout, the coach draws up a play. Do you get the intended shot that was drawn up? Now, whether you make it or not, sometimes the defense influences that. But they ran the play to perfection and got the shot that they drew up.
And a good thing that they got that timeout before the tie ball. Samuels, that's his spot. I mean, he is absolutely on target.
And how ironic is it from the young man that has been reluctant at times to take over, has been the catalyst offensively for Villanova this afternoon.
Jay said, I want more, I need more. Particularly about Samuels and Robinson Earl, and he's getting it.
Well, out of bounds, little handoff, and then you come back across the court. Chris Archie Diacono a little off balance on his defense, and Harris able to take advantage of it. That's excellent offense that time by the Hoyas.
These two guards for Georgetown, on occasion they'll take bad shots, but for the most part, if they get warm, I mean, they're like their own rotisserie unit. They can steamroll you from deep.
Listen, stop talking about food right now. It's a little afternoon right now. Had a light breakfast and oatmeal. Starting to get a little hungry right now. You keep talking like that.
Well, listen, we got plenty of time between now and the next game. Blair lost it. Slater got his hand in there. And it'll go the other way off the tie.
You know, one thing this zone defense has taken away from Georgetown, they love in their offensive sets to kind of go side to side with the ball, and then they'll plant Eagle FA or Wahab right in the middle of the lane for that swing pass back and dump it inside, either in the middle or on the block. The zone defense takes kind of that option away, so great scouting and way to counter that, you know, one of those pet peeve plays for Georgetown.
QDA Belay has to sit with his fourth foul. Villanova is effectively keeping him out of his game today. Oh boy, what a move again. He loves that spin move. Down low going reversal, and he'll get to the line.
The ability at 6'9" to do this. You know, to spin. He felt Wahab's body, knew he had room on the baseline. Again, by catching the ball up, Timmy B, off the baseline, that gave him room to operate. Again, just knowing where you're at on the court, that you can make the move that you ultimately want.
You really forget that he's a sophomore, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you really do. He plays with the savvy of a fifth-year senior. And Jay, his only complaint would be that both Jeremiah and Jermaine Samuels are a little quiet. And now, without Gillespie, who Jay even said is the consummate leader, most loved and best vocal leader he's ever had. And think about when he makes that statement, how lofty the standard really is. Resetting the bar after guys like Ryan Arcidiacono and Jalen Brunson. Harris, Robinson Earl keeps it alive, and Dixon clears it to Arcidiacono.
We'll punch Jay. We'll punch Jay. We'll punch Jay.
Pickett is a mismatch. Robinson Earl knows it. He is absolutely dominating the game now. You notice on this end, Jim, how difficult some of these shots are for Georgetown versus how easy they are for Villanova.
Well, that's the beauty, I think, for Villanova, knowing that if they switch to a zone defense, that would kind of hamper, kind of pull the strings away a little bit of this Georgetown offense, take away some of those options.
Justin Moore.
See, this is where I think Georgetown in transition needs to try to exploit the defense of the Wildcats before they get set.
Yeah. Blair in traffic is fouled. Great history in this building, at this tournament, and with these teams. How about 1985? Do you remember that year?
That, you know, Coach Wright put the ball in Samuel's hands and kind of set the tone.
Well, if you think about it, Nova went 0 for 8 from the floor to end the first half. They come out 7 out of 10 to start the second. They had a 9-0 run to open the game. So the way you play the opening moments of the half is just as critical as the way you finish. And they've also kept Georgetown from transition. There are 0, nada, senor, fast break points for the Hoyas.
Yeah, but that's, again, the attention to detail for Villanova, knowing that one of the areas that Georgetown would try to exploit the defense was to get it out quick after the miss to see if they could get down the court and get an easy basket. So excellent job that time. I mean, this afternoon by the Wildcats setting their defense back in transition.
We saw Robinson Earl on the bench. They're going to give him some extra time here with this lead. So Dixon's come into the game, and Daniels now has it for the Hoyas. And there is an opportunity missed by Harris, looking for steal. Samuels again. Wow.
Read and relocate. It's real simple. You work on it. Jermaine Samuels read that Moore was driving to the baseline. He's relocated himself right in the open corner.
Samuels and Robinson Earl have 39 of the 58 scored by Villanova today.
Post play. I mean, you know, Samuels is not considered a post player, but he is a forward. So your interior guys are giving you what you asked for, all you wanted. This is to put pressure on this interior of the Georgetown defense. And here it is. Dribble drive. Find an open spot. 3-ball corner pocket. Robinson Earl, even with, hey, put that mask up over there on the bench. What are you doing?
He's still shouting instructions. This is the largest lead of the day for either team. Daniels with that post-up move. Pickett got a hand on it. Tied up. Timeout. Villanova. They hold a 10-point cushion. Still a lot of time to go here in New York.
Happens this afternoon. I know Mike DeCourcy has St. John's in their first 4 out, so actually a little bit higher than Seton Hall.
Yeah.
In the next 4. So an opportunity for, I think, the Big East with either one of those teams to survive and advance and get themselves in a position.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they can get to 4.
You know what I mean? To get to 4.
Right. And a violation. Good defense from Georgetown after the tie-up and the timeout.
And wouldn't St. John's be a great story? I mean, Mike Anderson,
you think?
10-9, get above 50% in conference play, kind of the run they had. And they won 5 in a row and now get themselves, you know, a chance to really compete and win the Big East tournament, get to the tournament itself.
There's Harris. You've got a puncher's chance when you've got lightning quick guards that can nail trays. And Georgetown does.
And maybe Dante Harris is the guard that Patrick Ewing see this opportunity there for a steal. But of course, Villanova brings it back out. It gets a high percentage shot.
Bango, bongo. Justin Moore. Looks like the ankle is fine. Good elevation there. 61-50. The lead is 11. Carey will take one off the bounce. He hit some big shots late last night.
Well, you know, for this Georgetown press, you can't allow the ball to be thrown over the top.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, it collapses the defense all the way down towards the baseline. And that's how Justin Moore was able to be open once they kicked it back out for that 3. The defense just couldn't recover in time.
I say that it was the first game played, so it was in the afternoon. They all sort of run together when you do 3, Jim.
Yeah, no, trust me, man. We were talking about that before the game. See a push-off right here.
Dixon is called.
And Dixon, that just like the NCAA tournament when we do it.
Yeah.
A lot of games. But listen, here, once that ball goes over the top, watch the defense. You have 2, 3 players right here, 4. Now scrambling to get back, and that just leaves more open.
And you see the 3-point shooting story for Villanova in the second. They've been very efficient. Samuel's the reason for that. With a little help from Justin Moore now. Blair and Harris. Really tough. Top four inside. Pickett is fouled. 3 throws when we return. Villanova hasn't turned it over yet without Colin Gillespie. Yeah, they got a
pass is not there, you protect it and you move it. You know, not a lot of one-hand passes where you can't get it back if the defender steps in the way. So, but that's just drill work over and over and over again so that each player that finally steps on the court, they understand that.
We talk about this often in football. I don't know that we do in basketball, Jim. But the influence that Jay brings, I think, to the college game in many respects is an NBA influence as it relates to how to run your stuff, how to initiate your offense quickly in the clock, and not a lot of dribbling, you know.
Well, the best coaches understand in college, too, that there's a lot more hands-on approach and coaching with these young men throughout the game than it is in the league.
Yep.
But recruiting is the key to anything, because if you recruit the players that fit your system, high IQ guys, like this beautiful pass inside his hand was kind of not a travel, but he got a foul.
I think is Blay going to pick it up, and so he's out. Yeah. That'll do it for him.
You know, but to finish my point is that now, once you institute a system, you can trust that they can operate. You still have to coach.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty when you have, and not just a Villanova, Wisconsin has done it in the past. You see Mark Few doing it with Gonzaga.
Get old and stay old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to teach as much.
Right.
You're refining the system and the players that you have.
And that's exactly why so many of the blue bloods, from Cal at Kentucky to K at Duke, for a period of time, you saw it with North Carolina as well. You have a lot of guys that are freshmen that just don't get a chance to be a part of your culture for very long. I mean, it clearly came to the forefront during a year in which you try to play during an international pandemic.
Well, I always thought, too, like I covered the NBA. But it's the teams in college that brought back, I thought, junior and senior leadership that would probably be able to handle and weather the storm of COVID a lot better, because, again, the system was in place and coaches didn't have to actually teach as much as you would if you bring in freshmen.
Pickett was not going to absorb another spin move from Robinson Earl, so he gave himself up, and Jeremiah will have to go to the free throw line. That's now 7 team fouls for the Hoyas. We mentioned Belay having to leave the game. Carey is now back on the floor with Wahab, Blair, Harris, and Pickett. They're the 5 on the deck for Georgetown. And as I say that, here comes a change as Colin Holloway, the freshman from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, comes in.
Yeah, a little bit more size. Inside 6'6", but, you know, bulky. Secures some rebounds.
62-55. Georgetown hanging around.
Yeah.
Thought for a moment Villanova might take command of the game, but Georgetown has answered just enough. They've been tenacious. Oh, it's going up. Everything but the finish. Out of bounds to Georgetown.
And that's when officials are the kind of shot and play you want with 7 seconds as opposed to 20 seconds where you can bring the ball out and reset.
Blair's going to have to put it up.
Yep.
He does. And we've got a foul underneath. I think we have a push.
Robinson Earl inside.
Moore, I think, got it.
It was Moore. I mean, trying to box out and keep Wahab. I'm telling you, it goes back to the first half. Justin Moore got an earful from Jay Wright for not boxing out. Nah, bro. Hey, and coaches will tell you, if you can't get it, try to move your guy underneath the rim so he doesn't get it.
Yeah. Maggie Murden at the line.
Yeah.
Kudos to 72%. Not bad for a big man at the free throw line. Right back up on the bike goes Justin Moore. Archie Diacono back on the floor, along with Caleb Daniels.
You knock this in, you're only 5 points down.
Yep.
You know, so 2-possession game.
You know, for a period of about 8 to 10 minutes of this second half, Villanova seemed to be dominating, and yet Georgetown is right there.
Well, this is a different Georgetown team mentality-wise, where maybe a year or two ago, they would have inflicted their own wounds to, you know, help their opponent, but they've smartened up, wisened up, gotten better, and hence put themselves in a position to get a few stops and kind of maybe tie this game back up.
Robinson will wave it off. He took steps. Yeah, you look at Patrick Ewing's overall record since taking over, Jim, you're kind of missing the point. You know, he lost McClung. That was a big loss. He had really half his team vacate the premises last year, and he got his team to the finish line respectably. And now he's had to do a complete makeover this season through a pandemic. Well, I think he's really shown us a great deal about his abilities as a head coach.
Well, and that's why the numbers don't tell the whole story a lot of times. You just see the end product, which is the record, but not how you got to that point. Wahab right there, just not able to keep that offensive rebound alive. But that, how many coaches can weather a storm where you have a core group of guys, then all of a sudden they leave, and then you have to bring in a new crop.
Yep. And how good was McClung? Oh, check out Texas Tech's
newcomer of the year. Yeah. You know, in the conference. You know, Akinjo's played well at Arizona. You know, the block is gone, so you lose 3 key pieces that you knew you were going to build upon that would have been upperclassmen now, that you can lean on. So, not easy, bro. Not easy.
Archie Diacono getting so much closer, but not quite in from downtown. Really the only missing piece for him. He's acquitted himself very well besides that. And there's Dante.
Yeah.
Say hello. How do you do to Dante Harris?
Listen, if you haven't had a chance to watch this young man, again, minutes sporadic during the course of the year, you got to be excited if you're the coaching staff and Georgetown fans about Harris being your point guard of the future. And again, just the understanding of the offense, how to maintain spacing, knowing that the ball swings, you're going to be able to get your shot. You just got to step up, be confident, and be ready to knock it in. And to the tune of 14 points, 6 of 11. And you know what I love about it, too? Let's see. How many turnovers right here? 0.
No, he's played.
You see what I'm saying?
He's been exceptional.
Not turning the ball over.
Holloway got that foul. Hoy is in the middle of a 10-1 run. This kid took over for Jalen Harris since mid-December, Dante, and he is really seeing his game elevate at just the right time. Yep. Blair with a counter. Those two, a dynamic duo, and the Hoyas up by 1. Timeout, Villanova.
You watch him now compared to then. He was trying to figure some things out, probably eyes like you're deer in the headlight trying to figure things out. Now he has a calmness about him, and he's not trying to force the situation to say I belong and I should be here. His play is doing the talk, which is what you want to see if you're a coach.
And in the last few moments with this 13-1 run, they seem to be identifying Villanova's defensive changes when they make them more easily than they did early on. Robinson earns from Samuels. Wahab affected that shot. Look out. Pickett with a slip. Back to Carey for 3. Wahab over the back.
Wow. That is a great play that time by Pickett to carry that jump shot. Just a little too strong, and Wahab over the back.
Well, that's 4 on him. So they've already lost 1 in Belay, and they need Kudus to stay out there because without him, Robinson Earl can just run the baseline forever.
Yeah, you know, and the UFA has 3 fouls.
Yep.
Can give you a body,
but you lose offense.
And you use a guy that can keep the ball alive offensively. I know he picked up an offensive foul that time, but sometimes those little putbacks and you tip it out to keep the possession alive.
You'll have to be careful on those high picks. 34 playing with 4 for Georgetown. Sometimes when you go pick and roll, you can be moving. Blair off the heel, and Archie Diacono brings it down. Villanova's missed 2 front ends. That's a rarity on 1-and-1s.
Sure, they're going to try to go back to Samuels.
Why not?
Yep. Robinson Earl. That time Robinson Earl knocks it out.
Yep. It's going to be a grinder. The next 3:45. Georgetown looking to advance. Spoil it for the 3 times.
Basketball is that the ebbs and flows of a game. You're never out of it if you maintain your focus. And what could have been Georgetown's demise when Villanova kind of extended the lead actually made Georgetown focus a little bit more, in particular on the defensive end, and get the stops that they needed to let their offense get them back in a lead in this game.
Wahab was flashing in the post, and he was fronted immediately by Slater. Picked it up against the clock. Off the heel. And it's Samuels that comes down with it.
I'll tell you one thing, Slater and also Justin Moore, give them credit for this. They're undersized inside against Wahab, but they do an excellent job, like pass to the ball right there by Samuels, of moving their feet and staying in front and not allowing Wahab to establish himself inside. When we go back to that play, watch Robinson Earl right here, okay? And this is patented play for Villanova to be able to go kind of slip screen, not come all the way over. And again, the fundamental passing on Samuels to get the pass in there.
Well, that's a 2-shot foul, which makes a difference. But Nova had missed their last 3 free throws, so you got to give Pickett some credit. That's a good foul to send him to the line to make sure that he earns it there rather than with a slam dunk. 64-63, 3 minutes left.
I like the pressure here, too. Soft pressure enough. And then, now fall back into man-to-man defense by Villanova.
There's Wahab, and there's the foul on Moore.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Jay didn't like that one. Well, just past the top of the hour, you're at the Big East tournament. Quarterfinal round. We're making some history today. We didn't get this far a year ago. We're going to take this one all the way to Saturday. Butler and Creighton, DePaul and UConn. And the Gus Bus is here. Gus Johnson and Bill Raftery will have those 2 quarterfinal games tonight. And, of course, St. John's and Seton Hall coming up next with Jim Jackson and yours truly. Well, Moore fouls out with 10 points, but all things considered, I'm surprised that he played.
Well, not only that, but being ineffective.
Yeah.
Now, again, the numbers may not show it in regards to him 10 points, but like I said, on the defensive end, for him to be able to be as active with his feet against taller players inside, I thought that was a great sign.
Tell you, if the Hoyas win this game, they can look at the free throw line as being a difference maker. 17 of 17 at the stripe. We told you about the 1-and-1s that were missed by Villanova. They had 3 1-and-1s that they missed the front end on, and that's been a part of this Georgetown comeback.
hustled, they spread, they recovered. But the late closeout, and then you go for the pump fake. Slider able to step to the side and knock in that three.
Good quick pass from Pickett to Wahab. Slater the rebound. Archie Diacono on the run.
One of the few times able to get Wahab with a clean one-on-one matchup inside against his Nova defense, not able to convert.
Robinson Earl. 70-65. Wildcats asserting themselves like the champions they are. Harris in traffic. They'll get to the line for two.
Typical response by the Wildcats. Just dribble drive. Carry with the late closeout. Try to make you pay with the three-point shot. And then maintain spacing. Make the right play. Shooting practice that time by Robinson Earl.
Archie Diacono with his second foul. Dante Harris at the free throw line. 86% on the year, almost 87.
We'll give him 87.
Yeah, we'll give him 87. Announcers are always charitable. You know, we really are.
Well, you're not. You ain't invited me to dinner yet. I mean, what do you mean?
You know, if you get here on time.
I did. I got here on my time. That's which was on time. You had all the heavy lifting to do, not me.
Big defensive sequence here for Georgetown.
Yep.
They need to stop.
Just be solid defensively. Great recovery that time by Pickett. Don't bail out.
Tough shot.
That's the stop right there. You need it. One possession game, Timmy B.
Yeah, you're thinking Blair or Harris, right?
Yeah, but you don't need a three if you can get this.
Oh, you can get that. Maybe the old-fashioned three.
Hey, listen, whether it's old-fashioned, now I'm not talking about the drink. This one right here is worth every penny that you get for Georgetown. And again, this is what they love to do. Spread you out and then allow Wahab to get deep post position. And that time the mismatch, Archie Diacono late, and Swider comes over and gets him with the body. Ooh, Big East basketball, baby.
But let me tell you, a year ago, he might have put that one on the deck before taking it up. Not now. Like an aged wine, better with time. We're tied at 70.
Look into your crystal ball, Timmy B. Who gets the ball on this possession? Is it Samuels or Robinson Earl?
It's got to be 20. I'd go 24 first.
Okay.
But 23 is my second option. May not get a better look than that, though.
One-on-one
against Pickett. Yeah, no doubt about it.
And there's that. 5?
Yeah.
Wahab.
If it's Wahab, it's 5. Yep, that's 5. And Patrick can't believe it. He cannot believe it. He got him airborne.
Well, then he doesn't have to come over as far to rotate, and maybe he doesn't pick up that foul.
Something else to consider now with these two shots. Well, that's a big miss again. The front. I mean, that's now 6 of 12 at the free throw line. I was going to say, without Wahab, if they needed 2 to tie or 3 to win, you might consider going for the win. Now they don't have to worry about that. A 2 can win it.
And take it out on the side up here. Draw up a play. Get it up.
Ewing gets it with 15.6 left. Is there any place, Jim, you'd rather be right now?
No, sir.
We've got it exclusively on FM.
Who you got? And you would figure that Javon Blair will be included in some kind of weave action to get him to get space. Default Pickett with his size, and Harris, of course, playing confidently. Weave action.
Yep. Harris buried a big one to tie it late last night. Here he goes again. Into the lane. And he got Robinson Earl airborne. Nice idea, right? Put the pressure on the officials. Make them make a a call.
And you know what? The 86% on the year. That first one, baby, it was a little flat.
The iron kind.
Oh, no, very kind. There you go. Now it makes the second one a lot easier. Look at this. One more. See how smooth that one was, Jimmy B? All right. Got to keep the ball in front of you. Georgetown forced Villanova to catch it coming to. There you go.
No timeouts. They got to go the distance. Daniels at the